Guys, so I'm back. I haven't seen you for a little while and I'm sorry about that. It's been a little crazy. The boys are all gone for a month, so I've been trying to put stuff up on my Etsy shop, and that has been slow going, but I think I finally am starting to have a process. So all the boys, 3 out of the 4 boys are moving to Virginia. So, well, 2 were already there, and Dustin, the 18-year-old, he's moving there now too, so he's gone. And they'll all be back for Christmas for, a week or something, at least a couple days. But Joey, even the youngest, is gone for a month, so that has been very weird. I wanted to come on. I've had several tags and stuff that I keep missing, and then I'm like, okay, it's been too long, I can't really do them, but I want to do the Tarot Obsessed tag from Katie Flowers. I really liked that tag, and I haven't had a chance to do it, and so I'm sorry that this is so late, but I really like trying to do tags, even though I haven't had a chance to do very many of them. I'm going to open the window, because once again, as soon as I get on camera, I'm hot. Okay, so that should do it, because it is really kind of cold here in New York now. Okay, so without further ado, I want to do a live video so it doesn't take 3 hours to upload, because I don't know about you guys, but my videos lately literally have taken me like 3 hours to upload. That's the other reason that I haven't done it, because I haven't had time to sit here and allow it to do it. So I'm hoping maybe tomorrow I can do a live video. Okay, so the first question was, what was your very first tarot deck? And I really had to think about this because it has been a long time. The first tarot deck that I got, I didn't really use very much. I tried to a little bit, and I kind of played around with them. It was a long time ago, and I'm not sure. It was one of these 2 decks, but I'm not sure which one. So I'm going to show you quickly both. The Robin Wood Tarot and the Gendron Tarot. And I still have both, and I still like both a lot. I go through phases where I really am in love with the Gendron Tarot. And then I'm like, yeah, all right, I give up for a while, and I'm not crazy about it. And then I really like it again, and I don't know if I've ever shown it. So this is the backings. I do really love it. Every time I pull it out, I'm like, oh, I love this deck. So I'll show you some of the cards here. Here's the Death card. And it really is, gosh, they're such gorgeous images. The Mage, the Magus. Look, here's the 3 of Swords. And it's really a very goddess-based deck. So I really love this deck. I really do. It is a deck that, now that I have been doing tarot for a bit longer, makes me think maybe I should pull it out again. Because it's really great. The imagery in it and the symbolism. Here's the Fool. Is very, very beautiful. And here's the 10 of Cups. And I just really do like it. Here's the Hierophant. And the High Priestess. Look at, she looks like otherworldly to me. Just really pretty deck. So if this is a deck that you would like to see more, let me know and I can do a walkthrough. But I'm sure it's such an old deck. I'm sure that people have had it on. It's just very otherworldly. It's, you know, as a new reader, though, I didn't appreciate, I don't think the subtle differences that it had. Look, here's Princess of Swords. That it has from Rider-Waite, because I was trying so hard to learn tarot, to do like a memorization of the tarot, that, and most books back then had the Rider-Waite system in mind, which that goes by Rider-Waite. But when you're really new, if it's not exactly Rider-Waite, you're like, what? I don't really get that. So the other one was the Robin Wood Tarot, which I probably used a little more, because it's a little bit more, sticks a little bit more to the symbolism of Rider-Waite. Magician. Even though it has a very pagan-y feel still, which I absolutely adore. Look at the Devil card. This is a great deck too. Reaching to get out. It can see that light, but not quite being able to get through. Here, look at the Eight of Swords. This is a really gorgeous deck too. So I loved this deck. Three of Cups. And I still love it. I still pull it out once in a while. And, you know, I'm able to get a lot out of it. Two of Swords. But see, very Rider-Waite still. Eight of Pentacles. But it has its own little take on it. So, I loved that deck. What is your current favorite deck? So, such a hard thing to say, your current deck. I don't know about you guys, but my current deck, you know, my favorite deck, it does change quite a bit. For quite a while, Pagan Otherworlds was it for me. I was using that for almost every reading. And then, I must say, my current favorite is the Samhain Deck of the Bastards deck. It's just, it is vintage Rider-Waite in the background. And I edged it in black. But it's just, I don't know, it's, to me, it's the dark and mysterious. I really have been enjoying the readings from this deck. Really have been enjoying the readings. It is very Rider-Waite in the background. In fact, most of them, I think, come directly from Rider-Waite. Except, see, look at now. Here's the moon. I say that, and then, like, the moon to me, that does not look Rider-Waite. But a lot of them really, really are a vintage version, maybe, of Rider-Waite. But I just really am loving this deck. The Five of Cups. To me, they're so clear. They're so clear that I really like them. I do have one regret, is when I ordered the deck, I was still, I don't know. It's funny. I thought that I didn't know the tarot as much as I feel like I do now. So I think maybe if I had it to do over again, I would not get the words at the top. You know, the keywords there. I think maybe I would not get those. Because sometimes, to me, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing here. And then I read them, and I'm like, wait, what? And they're good. Don't get me wrong. It's not like they're wrong interpretations. But I think when you have a keyword there, you automatically go to the keyword, and it kind of restricts you a little, if that makes sense. Like, you see that, and I might change what I was going to say, or it restricts you, it pulls you into that reading. Does that make sense? So I think right now that's it, the Samhain Deck of the Bastards. What is your most used tarot deck? So I have to say it's the Witch's Tarot, which is Ellen Dugan, I believe, isn't it? Ellen Dugan. This is the deck that I really started using like for daily readings and made me feel more comfortable with reading the tarot. I don't know if it's like the first deck that I just really got to know tarot the most with it. So I really started to fall in love with it. And I used it probably, I betcha I used this deck every day for maybe 6 months. Just because it suddenly tarot became clear to me with this deck. And then I really loved tarot, and I really loved pulling for other people with this deck. And this is the first deck that I started, I think, pulling for other people, like people at work and friends and that kind of stuff. I started with this deck. So I have used it probably the most of any tarot deck ever. And I love it. All right. What is your least used tarot deck? I forgot to bring it up. Shoot. Hold on one second. Okay. I'm back. Okay, so the question was, what is your least used deck? And unfortunately, I have quite a few that I don't use very much. I am kind of a collector. Although I'm trying to get away from that. It's really hard. When you are a collector, it's hard to let go of stuff, even if you think you will never use that. Because, like, I love my collection. I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to be a collector sometimes. But I really, like, okay, so there's 4 that I pulled out that I thought I probably have looked through them twice. And never really used them for tarot. One is the Hobbit Tarot. And it's, you know, I bought it because I am a huge fan of the Hobbit. Of Tolkien in general. This deck does absolutely nothing for tarot though. Look at the Emperor. I don't know. Is it just me? That does not say to me what that's supposed to be. Look at 6 of Cups. Huh? Let me find another one that should be really clear. Okay, look, here's the Death card. Okay, kind of cool Death card. But like transitioning and change and, no, not so much. That's just kind of a nasty monster death. I don't get it. 10 of Cups. Here you go. Here's a good example. Huh? I don't know. I probably looked through it twice. I don't believe I've ever done a reading with them. Okay, so my other, look, Lord of the Rings Tarot. Same thing. I love the Lord of the Rings. I have this whole thing, and there's a book to it, and I was so excited to get the Lord of the Rings. Then I got them. Oh, look, they're still in order. That's how you know you really aren't using a deck. When they're still in order. Of course, the Magician looks like Gandalf. The High Priestess, the Lady Eowyn, is guided by her intuition. Aragorn is reunited with his love, the Lady Arwen, the lovers. I don't know. Just, okay, the Strength card. I just don't connect very well. Maybe it's my fault, like I haven't really given them a chance though. And the collector in me says, but you love the books and the movies, and how could you think of getting rid of this deck? Someday it could be like a collector's piece. In the meantime, they sit on my shelf, which is kind of sad. I feel kind of sad for them. You know, you put human faces to your cards. So the other set is the Fairy Wicca. I have the whole box set here. Contains 83 full color tarot cards and a 408 page book. So it's, I believe, if I'm thinking correctly, how bad is this? Isn't it like 2 sets of tarot and 2 books? And I have 2 other books with this. That's what it is. I have this book and I have 2 other whole books. And there's some cards that are sticking in here. And this, I'm pretty sure, is nothing like Rider-Waite. So it does not go at all by the Rider-Waite system, which to me meant I had to learn an entire new system. And I just wasn't ready to do that. And I'm sure from what I have read about it, it's a great system if you take the time to learn it. But I just, it's taken me a long time to feel comfortable with the Rider-Waite system. So I didn't really want to take that time. Look at how huge this book is. And like I said, I have 2 other whole books that kind of go with this whole set. So I have a whole lot of information about it, and I have not. So the other one, I'm not going to show very much, but it's called the Decameron Tarot. And this one I knew I was buying purely for being a collector. Let's see if I can find an image that I can show. This is a very erotic deck. Okay, that's not showing too much, I guess. Like a very erotic deck. And so I don't ever use it in readings. All right, that's not showing too much, although it's very, very, very suggestive. Okay, so I would never pull this deck out for a reading. I thought, I don't know, maybe readings for my husband and I. It's too much even for readings for my husband and I, because it's like, whoo, some of it is very like violent erotic almost, and I don't use it. But I keep it because I don't know, collector in me says I have to keep it. Okay, so oh my god, I'm at 18 minutes, I'm sorry. Okay. How did you learn to read the tarot? Okay, so how I really learned, practice. I started using the Witch's Tarot. I was doing daily draws. I started reading books, my tarot Bible. I have a bunch of tarot books, and journaling. I really think I really kicked it up a notch when I decided to journal. I took, I think, like my 4 favorite decks, and I took each card, like I took the Fool card, and I would write down, this is what it shows for this deck for the Fool card, which I believe was the Witch's Tarot Shadowscapes deck, which I really learned with also Robin Wood, and maybe one other. I can't remember. I have to pull my journals out again. And I wrote down, this is what the card shows. This is what it means to me. This is what the book says it means. This is, and I did that for all 4 decks. The Fool card, and then I went on to the Magician card. And I don't think I ever made it through I know I made it into the minors, but I don't think I ever made it through the whole thing. But it did help me very, very much to do it that way. So really, and then when I started reading for friends, it really started to kick in. Because if I'd pulled the same card a couple times, then I was like, oh yeah, okay, I remember this. And I'd remember like a little bit more of the aspect of that card the next time I pulled it. So that was good. What do you use tarot for? I use it for a lot of different things. I do try to use them for kind of yes/no answers. I am not one that use the tarot though as like make this decision for me kind of thing. I don't do that. I do say, okay, how do I think my day is going to be? Is there something I should look out for? And what kind of influence should I look out for? And is there something that can help me to get through that? And that kind of thing. I use it for heads up, like heads up for oncoming issues. If there's something coming that I should know about. Kind of ideas for my daily life. I try to pull at least one card a day. If it's a crazy busy day, I try to at least pull 3 if I can. But if it's a crazy busy day, I at least will pull 1 to say, okay, what can I expect today? I also use them for altar cards. Like I'll put a certain card, if I'm feeling that kind of energy, I'll put a certain card on the altar. Or for holidays, like I pull out the Book of Shadows deck and pull out the Yule card for Yule, because they are really beautiful. And I have certain cards like the Chrysalis Tarot. I love the Sun card for summer solstice. I always put out the Sun card because that to me says that's the epitome of summer solstice. So there's certain cards that I use for altar cards too. Meditation also, if I'm doing a specific meditation, shadow work or something, I'll pull out the moon or something that says what I'm working on and meditate with that card. How do you read tarot? Intuition or book? I would say both. I am a person that if I'm reading for someone else and I flip a card, most of the time I use my intuition. If I'm really stuck though and I'm like, this is not what this means for this person, and I really know that, I will say, hang on a second, let me clarify. And either I will pull an oracle card to try to clarify that for me, or I have gone to the book before, and everyone that I read for, because I don't read in a professional setting, knows that ahead of time, knows that I may pull out the book because I'm still learning. And everybody has been really good about it. It's not like I've had anybody say, oh, you're pulling the book out, don't you know what it means? They would rather, I think, me pull the book out, because then it kind of gives me some more ideas and inspiration of what they're going through. Do you use spreads? I'm starting to. I didn't for a long time, but I am starting to, even if I make up my own spreads, I'll say, like I said, for my, let's say I'm doing a daily reading for myself, I'll say, okay, what can I expect today? And flip a card. And is there something I should be looking out for? And flip a card. And what can help me through that? And what should I be aware of? And that kind of thing. I am starting to learn spreads because I want to use them with people that I'm reading for. I just will start flipping cards when I'm reading for someone and get a general feel for what it's saying. But I'm starting to want to, learn more spreads to say, okay, this is you. This is the influence. So I'm getting there. Do you mix tarot with other divination systems? Yes. Yes, I do. Absolutely. Definitely oracle. Like I said, I do pull an oracle card sometimes just to clarify a reading. I think I have used my pendulum with oracle cards. Sometimes if I'm really stuck and even when I look at the book and I'm like, okay, this is what it's supposed to mean, but I have no idea, I will use a pendulum to say, okay, is it talking about this in my life? Yes or no? Is it talking about this in my life? Yes or no? And that has helped me to get through that too. Do you mix? Oh, I did that. What makes a great tarot deck? For me, so far, I have not gotten into pip decks. I tried. I do have a couple pip decks. I'm not there yet. Maybe eventually I will be there, but it is not yet. So for me, it can't be a pip deck. It has to give me something. Even like the Pagan Underworlds is almost a pip deck with some things, but it will at least give me some clues on the card of, to clue me in and help my memory to remember what it's supposed to be. Also, for me, it's about the connection. If I connect to the images in it, then it's a great tarot deck. I really am appreciating decks with more diversity. And I think recently more decks have been coming out with some more diversity. Both in, well, diversity in everything. Diversity in religion, diversity in skin color, diversity in sexual orientation, diversity in a lot of different things. And the more the better. I think, you know, this world could use more and more diversity for everything. How important to you is it that a deck stick to the tarot system? I would like to say, oh, it's not that important. In fact, I think I wrote down it's kind of as long as I connect. Well, that's true, except if it's way, like I said, this the Fairy Wicca deck, I'm just not, I don't know if it's I'm getting too old now to learn a whole new system, or I just am not there. Please just at least stick to some kind of system, or be a deck that I connect with enough that I don't need the Rider-Waite system. I connect to it enough that I can go, oh, this is what I see there. Then that's okay. So connection, I guess, is the biggest thing for me. Do you have any backup decks? I do not. There are a few that I would like. My Witch's Tarot, Shadowscapes, Pagan Otherworlds. I would love if I had backups to those, because those are ones that I can see myself reading with forever. And like my Witch's Tarot is really, I don't know, it's getting there, you know. You can tell it's been used, which is great, actually. I mean, I think it's really broken in. But if I ever ruin a card or something, it's going to kill me if it goes out of print and I don't have another one. And my Shadowscapes deck, was the first deck I tried to edge, and I really screwed it up. So it's got all kinds of markings all over it. I use it for me, but I can't really pull it out for anybody else. So I really need to get another one of those. My Pagan Otherworlds, I don't know if I'll ever get, because it was too expensive to get the first one. So I don't know if I'll ever get a backup of that, but those three I really would like. Do you have any unusual or unique decks? I do. I have quite a few unusual, unique decks. I know, this isn't even the one. I know I've shown a couple of them before. I have a couple old decks. Is this? This is not even, this is my old Marseille, which is not even that old. But I have a J, whatever it is. It's Simon's first deck. It's a J something deck, which is a pip deck. And I found it, it's from like 74, I think, my copy. Maybe before that even, 72. So that is an unusual one, which I thought that's what I was grabbing. Instead, I was grabbing my Marseille deck. This is the other rare deck that I have, and I've showed it before, but the Tarot of the Cloisters, which is just such a beautiful deck, and I never use it. And I feel really bad because the images are gorgeous. I'm not sure why I don't use it. Maybe because it's churchy to me. I feel like it's churchy. But it really is such a gorgeous deck. It looks like stained glass windows, though. Look at the Magician. And it's a fairly rare deck. I found it in a Goodwill. I think I paid $3 for it. And it's in perfect, I mean, it is in perfect shape. It looks like whoever had it never used it, because it was in order, and I've kept them in order. Partially because it's a rare deck, probably, that I feel like I shouldn't use them because I don't want the value to go down. And it's not a deck, I guess, that I connect with and go, oh, I want to read with this deck. I just think they're very beautiful images. But it's not a deck that I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to read with this deck. I'm not going to go through all the cards here, obviously, because I have done an unboxing quite a while ago now to show what this deck entails. What is your current deck crush? Okay, so my current deck crush of decks that I do not have is the same as Simon's and Jen's, and I really, really love the Alice Tarot, the Baba Studios Alice Tarot. What a gorgeous deck. Every time I see images from it, I'm like, oh, that deck is so gorgeous. I just love that deck. The one that I have that is my deck crush is the Tricker Tarot deck. It's just such a cute deck. And the images, I'm such a vintage freak that the images are just amazing. And there's all these vintage things that I recognize because I'm a vintage collector. I so want some paper mache jack-lanterns now. It's killing me. It's just such a cool deck, though, that I have been really enjoying it for the last week or so, however long I've had it. So that's my current deck crush that I have. Do you read reversals? 99% of the time, I do not read reversals. I had a hard enough time learning what the upright meanings were. So I am not there yet to read reversals. I have a couple times, believe it or not, with clients read reversals when the card was reversed when I laid it down, and if I turned the card upright, it would totally not be the right reading. There's been 2 or 3 times now where I've been reading with someone else. One was with a paid client, which is not, I know I said I don't read professionally. I don't, but I do Reiki professionally. And if I'm done with a Reiki session and a client is like, hey, you read tarot, right? I'll do a reading for them. I don't charge for that. But one was with a client that really the whole reading, like I knew what was going on in this whole reading. And I flipped the card and it was a reversed card. And had I flipped it upright, it would have changed the entire reading. And I knew that that wasn't supposed to be. So I actually just read it as the reversed. But that's really rare for me. Usually I don't know if I would be able to, my mind would be able to read it the other way. So, if you could only use one deck, which would it be? So hard. That is a horrible question. Right now, I think it would be Pagan Otherworlds. I'm loving that deck. Forever and Ever, the Witch's Tarot probably. Because it's just my most comfortable deck. It's like my going home deck. I'm home again. I see it and I'm, yes, this is my deck. So that's it. And I missed you guys.